first of all, to not to end up like Will Smith is you've got to, first of all, have, you've got to be you got to understand what is it? The threat, right? There's nothing that is more threatening yet also arousing to women than a man who understands his own value to women. And he's willing to, like, you want to know why Andrew Tate is like the top G? It's because he understands his own value, and he understands his own value to women, and he's unapologetic about it. That's why I said he's a better teacher than, like, say, like Jordan Peterson or Matt Walsh or any of these other guys, right? Chris Williamson, if you're not going to get me on, at least get, and I hate to, I got to complain about Tate's, spam now and then, but you know what? If you're not going to have me on, at least get Tate on. Chris Williamson, go get Andrew Tate, and be sure to ask him about Michaela Peterson, because I think he's a better, more honest broker than somebody like Jordan Peterson is when it comes to relationships and when it comes to living life, because he's in a way, he's almost like the alpha Buddha in a sense. Like, he just does it because it seems like, why wouldn't you? Like, why wouldn't you be an alpha? Why wouldn't you be like this? Why wouldn't you want to be like me? It's like, it's so self-evident, and you may not want to be like the top G, but it's like the fact that he's like, he understands that so well, and that it just like naturally, fluidly comes out of his mouth. And he makes a lot of money off of it too, no lie. But honestly, I think he is a better teacher, an online teacher, better guru than Jordan Peterson, because he understands it and he lives it. That's why. Chris Williamson, interview. Tate's been trying to get on every goddamn show I've ever been on, like for the last like 6 or 8 months. I'm going to give you a plug, my friend. Chris Williamson, have him on. Rogan, have him on. He was already on that other show with that one chick. I can't remember her name. And he was just completely no bullshit, unapologetic. He's got no reason not to be. And so, like, when I look at stuff like this, your advice, I'm not saying you'll go be like the top G, but like the thing is, as I said, he's a good representative of the threat. And the threat is this, is that there is nothing that is more threatening to women, yet simultaneously arousing to women, than a man who understands his own value to women and other men too. But like in this case, it was about women. And so if you can do that, if you understand what your own value is, that will keep you from being like Will Smith. Will Smith has no earthly clue what his value is to women in general, much less Jada Pinkett Smith. And as a result, she blows him off and fucks with him and fucks with him and fucks with him. Keeps pushing, keeps, oh, please react, please do something, please, bust me in the chops or something like that. But instead he goes and he hits Chris Rock in the chops, right? Instead of going one way, he goes the other way. He hits right instead of left, right? And his children completely disrespect him. You know why? Because he doesn't know he's Will fucking Smith. That's why. He doesn't understand. He's not living it out. It's the same thing as Tiger Woods, right? When Tiger Woods had his moment, he's banging porn stars and hookers and Blue Martini in Orlando, by the way. He realized he was Will Smith. He realized his own value to women. That's why it's threatening to women. That's why it's also arousing to women. That's why you want to avoid being like Will Smith. That's what you have to do. Now, the other part of your question, here you go, for $4.99, by the way. Boy, what a great one this is. And then you don't want to end up black-pilled and with the wife and kids. Okay, fine. Then what you do is you understand that nihilism is a failure in hope. It is a failure in your ability. It's not it's a failure in your imagination is what it is. You can't imagine. If you cannot imagine success, you're fucked. And I say this as nice as I possibly can here, because if you've read my 4th book, I mentioned this in the magical. There's like a section. It's part of a chapter. I can't remember which chapter it was from, but I talked about magical thinking, and like people think that magical thinking is automatically negative. They think of it in terms of like Richard Dawkins, or they think of it in terms of like the Red Queen kind of stuff. It's like, oh well, magical thinking has led to religious atrocities across the world for ages and ages, and I can't believe people would think magical thinking would be a good thing. Yeah, it's responsible for some human atrocities, I will admit. Yes, but it's also responsibility for our greatest achievements as well. Because without magical thinking, we lack imagination. And you could take that imagination and you can turn it into human atrocities, absolutely. But you can also take that and make it into, you could put a man on the moon. Why are we going to go to the moon? I don't know. You think we can do it? Fuck yeah, let's do it. I imagine we can do it. Men look outward on the world. Women look inward. That's why women like people and men tend to look at things, tend to be interested in things. Again, Steven Pinker. But the idea that men are outward thinking. We want to men. One of the things I think that is a defining characteristic of conventional masculinity is this: it is that men, like men who understand their own value, right? Men affect their will upon the world. That is a defining aspect of being masculine. It is this want to control the world, to master it, and to make it our bitch, right? Oh, my wife is complaining because she has to wash dishes all the time. Don't worry, bitch. I'm going to figure out how to make a dishwasher so you can be happy. She'll never be happy, of course. But imagination, if we were to make a machine that washed dishes, how will we do that? That's you using magical thinking. It's imagination. It's not a bad thing or a good thing. It just is. If you fall into nihilism, as you're saying, I don't want to be black pill doomer, then don't lose your imagination that things might be better. Don't lose your imagination that you could put yourself on the moon. That's you want to know why these guys will always be losers and failures and fakes, and all they'll do is just bitch and moan and kvetch and chew their cud over like successful guys all the time. I wouldn't want to be like those guys. Don't worry, you never will. You never will. Remember what Arnold Schwarzenegger said? We wouldn't want to look like you. Don't worry, you never will. That's what he told them. You'll never be a success. You'll never. That's what the way you've lost your magical thinking. You don't see a possible way to be successful in any way. You want to not be a black pill doomer? Don't lose your imagination. That's all the best I can give you, Mr. 24-year-old dude. Muscles, money, game, the secret recipe. Yes, because all of those together combine. Our powers combined, money, muscles, and game creates frame. And that creates a world. Your money, your muscles, and your game creates a world into which a woman wants to enter. And people, that is what makes you the man that other men want to be and other women want to fuck. The end.